My name is Adam Conrod. I was wanting to do this here interview, this film about a concern that's been an issue for quite some time about policing here in our region of the Halifax Regional Municipality, renamed as Halifax. Ever since when amalgamation had taken place, there always had been ongoing problems with our local police force known as the Halifax Regional Police. Their problems have been ongoing. They've been harassing the general public, getting their facts wrong with the general public, coming up to people with their warrants for somebody's arrest when they got the wrong person. They've been sued multiple times by numerous of people throughout the H.R.M. like Kirk Johnson when they used to pull him over because he had tinted windows, and when the province would allow that to happen under the Motor Vehicle Act. And there was a few others lawsuits against the Halifax Regional Police. I can't remember all of them, but there was another study that was done against the Halifax Regional Police, and they had a bad reputation of pulling people over because they were black. Here's my concern about that. If the police has to pull somebody over, regardless of the race, they got to do their jobs, no matter what. If they're pulling people over, if they ain't got no reasons, all right, we got something to complain about. But here's the problem. The Halifax Regional Police is not the problem here. The province of Nova Scotia's Motor Vehicle Act with the police is the problem. Under Motor Vehicle Act with the police, they do not have to, by law, have any reason to suspect anything to do a traffic stop on anybody. A lot of people feel that they have to have a reason, but guess what? They do not have to. I don't support that law. I believe the police should have to have a reason to pull over a car to do a traffic stop for whatever reason. But on the other hand, I believe that the police shouldn't have to also because you don't know when something's going to go wrong. A police officer is trained professionally to expect the unexpected. And when you're a police officer, when you're doing traffic stops on anything, you got to be ready for the unexpected. I mean, I talked to numerous of police officers throughout the region. I've seen videos of police officers on you remember the TV show Cops and America's Most Wanted. And one of the things what their officers would say is, when you're doing a motor vehicle traffic stop, you have to be ready for the unexpected, because that is when something will happen and go wrong. And when it does go wrong, you have to be ready for it, because if you do not, that officer could be paying with his life. And when an officer does his job with the Motor Vehicle Act, he's doing a traffic stop, he is putting his life on the line. Because when the officer pulls his car over, when he's doing these traffic stops, there's cars coming and going on the highway, the freeway, the normal side road, whatever. His body is on the line when he's doing these traffic stops. Trust me when I tell you this. Now, I'll admit the Halifax Regional Police has a bad reputation, but not all police officers in that force is bad. You know, when Stephen McNeil stated that, he was appalled that the numbers were high with the Halifax Regional Police, that they had a bad reputation of pulling people over because they were black. What in the hell is Stephen McNeil talking about? Stephen McNeil, if I'm not correct, now all you people at home, wasn't Stephen McNeil's brother Chris the former deputy chief of police? Is that not the truth? Is that not true? It's easy for Stephen McNeil to make these stupid and ignorant comments because his whole family is involved with the police department. He's bailing these crooked cops out left, right, and center, coming up with every excuse to get this bad cop off the hook for whatever situation they may have caused. He gives them the back door to get out of the way. In my opinion, Steve McNeil is an idiot. I like the guy, but I don't like him at the same time. And in my opinion, I think Nova Scotia do all Nova Scotians a favor and vote him out of office. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. He's an embarrassment to our province. He's an embarrassment to our people and our police force and the justice system also. Here's the thing. Here's the thing what the police don't usually do, what they should be doing. Let's say when an officer is dealing with somebody with mental illness, they'll serve him a court order. Stay away from this location or whoever's property or from whoever. Here's the problem. If the person who they're serving this legal document is mentally ill, what good is that court order to them or to the community or even to the person who's in fact for? Because if that accused is handed a court order, and if he doesn't understand what it's about because he's too sick to understand or grip the reality of things, he's most likely going to do what the police and what the courts and the justice system is asking him not to do again because he doesn't understand that, what it's about. And when you look at people with mental illnesses with the police, they don't have a bloody clue what to do with them. And neither does the Nova Scotia Justice System, and neither does Nova Scotia Capital Health. Look at the East Coast Forensic Hospital. There's more people going into that hospital than there is coming out. And when some people leave that facility, do you know what's wrong? Half of those patients that are released from that hospital are not ready yet from the community. The reason why the hospital discharges them back out in the community is because their hospital's overbooked. It's overpacked with patients who are coming from the jail to gain access to the hospital. So they got no more room for them. Even though that you're not ready for the community, we're going to send you out anyways. And that is what's wrong with our mental health care system. People are being discharged from the East Coast Forensic Hospital because there's no room to house them. I'll admit, the Halifax Regional Police has a bad name in the community. And when you have a bad name in the community, it's hard to get rid of. I met a few police officers from the Halifax Regional Police. Some of them are pretty good, some of them are jerks. But the best police officer that I met from the Halifax Regional Police that I met was Constable Jason Mood. Do you know why I like this guy? Because he got people skills. He knows how to talk to people. If you're a police officer that has no people skills, none whatsoever, honest to God, you're going to lose control of the situation. Because when you're a cop and you're dealing with situations, you got to have people skills. And if you do not, you're going to lose, and you're going to lose hard. And a police officer, in my opinion, is the most dangerous job a person can do. It's the most disrespectful job you can do next to being a janitor or a traffic controller on Sud Road during a construction zone. It's a disrespectful job on top of that. Now, I'll admit, the Halifax Regional Police got their work cut out for them. But the whole problem is not the Halifax Regional Police, it's the province. In 1995, former Premier, the late John Savage, wanted to come up with a thing called amalgamation. It went to effect. The people of Halifax never had a vote for this to come into effect, which is illegal, against the law, but they were allowed to do it. Here's the thing. There wasn't enough money to go around. So when amalgamation came to effect, now there's people in the community, no, they're entitled to these city services, but they're not getting it because there's not enough money to go around to the whole entire region. The region of Halifax, the former Halifax Regional Municipality, starts from Hubbards, Nova Scotia, all the way down to Ecum-Secum. Here's my concern. A few years back, HRM, former Halifax Mayor Peter Kelly, wanted to dissolve the entire R.C.M.P. across the Halifax Regional Municipality, or region of Halifax. My member of Parliament, former member of Parliament Peter Stopper, got up and challenged Mayor Peter Kelly. He stated, if you guys don't have enough money to go around to serve your community with police enforcement in your community, how are you going to serve your community when somebody needs an officer, when they're in need of the police? Let's say you get a 911 call in Sheet Harbour. The nearest police officer is in downtown Halifax. It's going to take an officer at least 2.5 hours to get from downtown Halifax to Sheet Harbour, going fast as he can with his lights going on an emergency call. The shortest time he can get to Sheet Harbour from downtown Halifax is 2 hours. So I think you get where I'm coming from. If people from Sheet Harbour, Ecum-Secum, Jador, Tangier, wherever you're from, needs an officer, an emergency call, does the region of Halifax have enough money to pay out on these officers when the calls are needed? We can't have people waiting 2-3 hours on an emergency call waiting for a police officer to come to their door or call them. That's a problem, and that can be a life or death situation. And we cannot be putting people in our region, putting their lives at risk because our government doesn't want to spend the money or because they're not intelligent enough to do what's right. Think before you amalgamate. If the province of Nova Scotia wants to do something right, they'll de-amalgamate Halifax, cut it up, shorten up the Halifax Regional Police, and go that route. Let's not get rid of our R.C.M.P. I'd rather have the R.C.M.P. in our community than the Halifax Regional Police, because the R.C.M.P. are funded more, and they know the area more, and they don't get their facts backwards, and they don't get their facts wrong like the Halifax Regional Police do. I can't tell you how many horror stories I heard from people from the general public about the Halifax Regional Police. Now, I'm going to end this. Alright, you just seen a clip of the Chief of Police. The question is, what I got is, does he have what it takes to continue his duty as Halifax Regional Police? Do we have the right person to be Chief of Police, or do we need somebody else? My opinion about the Halifax Regional Police, their problem is only minor. They got to have better people skills. They got to be funded better than what they are now. And they got to get the right people to be doing their jobs, and they got to get rid of the police officers that are trouble with the community, trouble with people, and get them out of the force. Get rid of these no good people who shouldn't be there. But anyways, a lot of people, it doesn't matter what police force you're from, a lot of people will talk down to the police. They'll insult them to do everything. But here's the thing. When they need these police officers, these people who insult them don't mind running back to them for help. I mean, the police may have issues. I mean, the Halifax Regional Police has a bad reputation and a black eye within the community that they look after. But how we can fix this problem is by working with the Halifax Regional Police, working with our province, working with our MLAs, working with our councillors, and by doing that, we can identify these people who need to be removed from the force and replace them with better people. See this shirt I'm wearing? It's about you. And do you know what? It is about you. It's about your community. How we can make our community a better place is easy. You work with our police department, you work with our MLAs, you work with your city councillors, and you work with your mayor. And that's why we have elections. If they're not doing a good job, we vote them out. Peter Kelly, in my opinion, when he was the mayor, he's a good guy, but really he never had a hard challenge. Nobody really tough to go up against. And when he did have a challenge, when Mike Savage came up to him, he ran away like a coward. My opinion, people like Peter Kelly was part of the problem. This is why, in my opinion, why Halifax is in the situation that it's in. You've been voting the wrong people in office. Like I said earlier in this film, the Halifax Regional Police is not the only problem here. It's a long-scale picture here, what's wrong here. And I believe by working together, pulling ourselves together, working with the police, we'll fix this problem and it'll be a better situation in years to come. One of the problems, what's wrong with the police, technically, I shouldn't say the police, because technically the entire problem doesn't fall on the police. If it's the R.C.M.P, Halifax Regional Police, Truro Police, New Glasgow Police, Amherst Police, whatever. The problem actually, technically, solely falls on the province itself. Nova Scotia's justice system. Here's what's wrong with Nova Scotia Justice System. We've seen it numerous times, over and over and over again. The accused. Let's look at the accused. People who are caught or proved committing crimes. The representation from their lawyers from Nova Scotia Legal Aid. They're often usually underfunded and not funded enough to represent the accused where they need the representation to be represented at. There's a lot of good points that Nova Scotia Legal Aid often overlooks, and the accused is often found guilty, or they could be found not criminally responsible, but they're found guilty because the lawyer that's representing them is not funded enough to look after them. This here is unacceptable for Nova Scotia's justice system to be allowed to be happening. I've seen and heard numerous cases in Nova Scotia's justice system where people were found guilty because Nova Scotia Legal Aid was not representing properly the accused. I heard stories in the past where victims would lie to the police, lie to the courts, not a whole lot, but just enough so the accused could be found guilty, thrown in jail, whatever. Nova Scotia's justice system cannot be having Nova Scotia Legal Aid representing the accused if Nova Scotia Legal Aid is not properly representing people and not properly funded enough. There's a lot of people that could use Nova Scotia legal aid, but they can't because Nova Scotia legal aid only deals with criminal matters and women when they're going through divorces, pregnancies, stuff like that. But let's look at a point that happened here in Halifax a few years back when a cab driver attacked a university student, where she was found exiting the cab driver and the cab in downtown Halifax naked from the waist down. We all remember that. And did the judge not state a drunk can clearly give consent? And what did Nova Scotia's Justice Minister do, Diana Whelan, former Minister of Justice Diana Whelan, say? She didn't do nothing. She didn't intervene. She let this judge show his ignorance, let a victim who became a victim, who should never been a victim, fall victim to the holes of the Nova Scotia Justice System. Nova Scotia's justice system is a one-sided system. The police will often arrest people, push the problem down the conveyor belt, even though that they're mentally sick. We can't help you. There's not enough doctors to help the accused, whatever the case may be. The police already know this. They don't care, so we'll push the problem down the conveyor belt just so the problem's under their hands. This here is a problem. In my opinion, if there is people out in the community that are mentally ill who has a doctor, a family doctor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist, whatever, any kind of mental health professional, if they have a patient or client who is mentally ill and who is posing a risk to themselves, to the community, and to others, if that doctor fails to provide the appropriate health care to this patient, and if this patient becomes a risk to themselves, to the community, and to others, and if that doctor or that professional stands by and does absolutely nothing, there should be a clause in the law where the police have the authority to press criminal charges against the mental health provider. Now, I don't know how many people came up to me and they loved this idea, and what they said was, this is one of the gaps in the system. If this law was in place, a lot of people will not be following through the mental health care system like they are today, and it would be a great tool for police to have. And this would most likely diffuse a lot of situations that the police interact with. The police are doing their jobs. I take my hat off to them, but things can be a lot better. The last thing what we need is some idiotic premier like Stephen McNeil. In my opinion, the man's an idiot. I really don't like him. I only like him to a certain extent, but personally I don't like him. He will say just about anything to prop himself up, even though that he only knows that the Nova Scotia Justice System and the Nova Scotia healthcare system is in complete sign of disaster. It's in bad shape. He doesn't care. Nobody cares. And what the problem is, there is people who cares, and it's often the people who can't afford money to get a half-decent lawyer to fix the problem. How do we really fix the problem? We get rid of Stephen McNeil. You get rid of this idiot. There's nothing good about him. His brother was the former deputy chief of police, and Steve McNeil has the gall to sit there and point the finger at the police saying, I'm appalled by these numbers that the police are bringing in, pulling people over because they're black. Here's the thing. A few years back, wasn't there a hate group called Black Lives Matter? And I was on Facebook. They got in contact with me. They were trying to organize a protest against the Halifax Regional Police, and I passed their link on to the police, and the police sent me back saying, thank you for this heads up. So the police, they did their thing, they looked at them. Unfortunately, they never did what they wanted to do, protest the Halifax Regional Police. But when you get groups like Black Lives Matter, when they start doing their thing, they're making the situation worse. They're promoting racial discrimination and hatred. They're turning their issues into a hate tactic, that can result in a hate charge. And if there's anybody at home that does this, that takes advantage of things, twist it around, turn it to a racial hate thing, you can be charged. Now, I don't know if you care. Personally, I don't care, but I'm just telling you for your own good. And I am saying that this group, Black Lives Matter, makes things worse than what things already are, and this is the last thing what we need in our community is this group going around. Get rid of them, let the police do their thing, but the overall pictures, and I look at the Halifax Regional Police, let them do their jobs. when the chief of police from the Halifax Regional Police stood up, and he defended his department here against these protesters, and they had this town hall meeting. I guess it was in Halifax. I didn't go to it, but it was on the news. The chief of police defended his officers, and he stated, the people who are committing these crimes, black people, whatever you want to call them, it's unfortunate, but they are the ones that are breaking the law. So what are these people saying? Don't arrest them because you're black? No. If these people, these certain group of peoples are breaking the law, we will charge you. We will arrest you. We will bring you to the Department of Justice and have you charged, prosecuted, or sent to jail. My problem is, these group of people, they don't want to accept the way how things are. If they want to do anything positive out of this, deal with the people who are breaking these laws. Deal with it in a humane and respectful manner and help the police interact with this problem. Turning people against your law enforcement, it's not a good thing. It's good if you do it right, but when you got this group like Black Lives Matter, and you got these individual groups that are turning things, making it worse than they are, working against the police, you're going to get yourself charged. Honest to God, you're actually supporting a hate charge against yourself. But anyways, above all, the overall picture is there's several issues wrong with the Nova Scotia Justice System. The justice system itself doesn't work. You got bad police officers involved with the Halifax Regional Police, and you got elected officials that are lying their asses off just to get off the hot seat, just so they can't be exposed, like I said about Stephen McNeil and his brother Chris McNeil being the former deputy chief of police. But anyways, my name's Adam Conrod, and I thank you for watching this video.